Console war is one that is long and hard fought by both sides, and honestly, I used to partake in it. And I was kind of a double agent because I swapped, actually, from Xbox to PlayStation. That's right. The lure and temptation of single player games in my adolescence caused me to turn on Xbox and go to PlayStation so I could have titles like Uncharted and God of War and The Last of Us and stuff like that. So it was very hard for me to do because that was kind of me shedding my multiplayer, I guess, phase of my life because I was so. That's why I got Xbox. All my friends had Xbox. We all wanted to play Halo together. We all wanted to play, Gears of War. And Xbox has good. They both have good titles. Don't get me wrong, but that brings me to the topic of today's discussion, and that is, should consoles share titles? Like, should there even be console exclusive titles? Because if you didn't know, there is recent news, I believe it broke 2 days ago, with Halo releasing a trailer revealing they are debuting on PS5. And it's kind of crazy because this happened with, I believe, the Forza games. The Forza games are on PlayStation now, if you did not know. And it's just crazy because Halo is, in my opinion, Halo is Xbox. Like, Halo is, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just, it kind of built Xbox, in my opinion, at least for me. It was the reason I got an Xbox, like I mentioned. It's the reason my friends all had Xboxes. And it's just a great time. So I think it's kind of crazy that something this big is coming to PlayStation. It's kind of like if PlayStation were to let, say, like Uncharted go to Xbox or something like that, or God of War. It's just pretty nuts. And I want to talk about it because I've seen a lot of back and forth online after this reveal. Like, Xbox is playing too nice with PlayStation, and PlayStation should be giving up their titles too. Like, there shouldn't even be console exclusives. And before I go any further, I want to know what you guys think below by the end of this video. I mean, what do you think? Do you think there should be console exclusive still? Do you think Xbox is sharing too much and they should just stay completely separated? Or do you think there should be no separation at all and everybody should just be free to play what they want on what they want? And I'm going to preface this whole video by saying I'm not an expert. I've said this before in my movie reviews, but I'm definitely not an expert on gaming consoles or gaming in general, for that matter. I'm a very casual fan of all of this stuff because I like so many different things. And one thing I believe I've heard before in the argument for the separation of titles on different consoles is that they would have to basically rework the entire game. That's why a lot of them take so long when they, like Halo, for example. That's why they're not just releasing Halo outright. They have to take long to work on it and to improve it and to optimize it to fit the PlayStation's console. And I understand that, but at the same time, if it's one of those things where they can predetermine it in the development phase, then they wouldn't really have to even worry about that. They could just get out from the jump. Now, that being said, with games that have come up before, I understand the hesitancy because obviously it's a lot of time to consume in something that has already been released, and for fans that may or may not kind of pick it up. So it is difficult, but at the same time, I am not a fan of the separation. Now, as I mentioned, I actually was in the console war. I was very involved, and I used to get in all the petty, bullshit arguments. And looking back, I say it's bullshit because looking back, I think it's ridiculous. It's like, who cares? If you have an Xbox and you like Xbox, then good for you. If you have a PlayStation and you like PlayStation, again, good for you. Like, who actually cares? And if you do care, I suggest maybe you touch grass. I'm not trying to offend anybody, especially if some of you are my subscribers that feel like that. I don't know. I'm not trying to lose people from this channel, but it's my honest opinion. I think there's much more important things, especially in the gaming sphere, than worrying about like who plays what console. Especially when it doesn't harm anyone. It's not like if you're supporting Xbox or PlayStation, you're supporting like, terrorists or something. I mean, it's a gaming company. Now, that being said, some gaming companies can be very sketchy, very terrible. Ubisoft, for example. I didn't say that, no. But yeah, I think the separation, honestly, is a greater disservice to fans than it is a service. Everybody should be able to play what they want. Not everybody can have the money to afford, each console. Like, I had to give up my Xbox to get a PlayStation, and it was even a later generation PlayStation at that, just so I could play some of the single-player games I wanted to. I did not grow up I was very fortunate to have a good mother and a good brother and a good family, but I did not grow up very financially gifted. And with that being said, I mean, a lot of people don't, and henceforth why I say, like, a lot of people cannot just afford to go out and buy 2 consoles, especially nowadays. And I think it's just right to give people the access to play what they want to play. I don't think you should price, because it's not technically pricing people out, but it really is. I mean, because say you have a PS5, but you really want that new Halo. And say this wasn't coming to PlayStation, but you really wanted the new Halo. You couldn't afford that unless you give up your PlayStation 5. But then, if you give that up, you're losing out on all your presumably favorite single-player games, because that is what PlayStation is known for. Especially with newer titles like the Spider-Man games. I mean, those are iconic already. And not to mention Last of Us 2. And, there's just so many things. So, I think gaming is something that is so much fun. And it's a great hobby for a lot of people. It's a passion for many more. And with that being said, I think it's just unfortunate to see how many people get kind of price gouged out of it because of the, well, for lack of a better term, the pettiness of the game ecosystem or community. I don't even know what to call this. I don't even know who makes these decisions, honestly. But I do know one thing. Xbox is much more game to play and give people the chance to play. I think the CEO is quoted, if I could find it, I'll post it here, but I think he's quoted of saying something along those lines, like playing should be free for everybody, or playing should be available for everybody. And I love that. Now, I'm not an Xbox guy anymore. I'm not like choosing a side, but I'm just saying, like, objectively, I just like PlayStation more. But the only thing I will say about PlayStation is, Xbox plays very nice. They do not. PlayStation does not give up their titles. They don't budge on anything. They're very stubborn, very Nintendo-esque to a certain degree. But it's frustrating because it could be so simple. Like, if they could both just work together, this could benefit everybody, in my opinion. I mean, why would you not want how many some odd players exposed to your titles that are exclusive only to PlayStation? That's the other thing. I mean, the sales alone would hypothetically like double. No, I mean, I'm not an expert on this type of stuff, but that's just my guess when you open it up to literally millions of other players, because Xbox has millions of players, and a lot of those probably don't have both consoles. Like I said, that's not, I feel like some people think that's a very common thing, but it's really not that common. So I think this would be a really good win for both parties. And I wanted to talk about this because, I'm very excited for the upcoming release of, the Halo games to the PlayStation 5. I will definitely be getting it because I am in no position to be buying an Xbox just for, one or a couple titles when I could barely have enough time in the week to play at all. But this is great news. It's just not really news I was hoping for, because I just want to see PlayStation kind of put their hats in the ring as well. I want to see some more leniency, or I guess like cooperation from PlayStation. I think a lot of people deserve to experience titles like The Last of Us and Uncharted and God of War and Spider-Man. And it's just very frustrating because I have some friends that are huge Spider-Man fans that want to play the game. And I mean, sure, I'll let them play it on my console, but I mean, how realistic is that? We're adults now. We cannot just it's not that realistic. So it just sucks to see people that have, such passions for these kind of games, these kind of characters, and then to see it squandered just because, of one company, basically. Now, Xbox is not perfect working with, everything. And Xbox as a whole, is not perfect, obviously, but they're at least trying, and I think this is a good sign of the future, especially them giving PlayStation such a big title. Maybe it'll influence PlayStation to work better, but I don't know. It's all up in the air. I just kind of wanted to speak on this because it really interested me, and I wanted to hear what you guys thought, because honestly, you guys have better takes on stuff more often than not than me. So I want to hear your guys' opinions down below. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm right, and if you're excited to see Halo come to PlayStation, because like I said, I'll be there day one. I'm going to take a week off of work. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you stuck around this long and listened to me blabber, I appreciate it. It truly does mean a lot to me every time you guys choose to watch what I have to say. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.